Good evening, everyone. It's Sunday evening, the 26th of April 2020, and just starting off with the US dollar basket. So again, the 100 level being at least psychologically significant, if nothing else. We can see price managed to stay above 100 this week, is actually encountering its own resistance at 100.7, 100.70. The overall, the weekly, still looking relatively bullish. This level of resistance somewhat in its way. Monthly actually looking nice. That flow of price obviously encountering resistance, we're coming towards it, and that again the general area, that zone, still being an issue for it to overcome. And looking at the most recent candles, looking to see if we do reject this in the coming days and then take another run at that level. So not much clarity has arrived, and it's not really going to until price breaks up above this level, stays above it, or ultimately makes up its mind if it starts to head significantly lower. So we've just seen it largely range bound, but certainly looking at the moving averages, it looks more bullish than bearish. And so this week, again, I'm prepared to watch it to continue to bump its head at this and push its way higher. Looking at euro dollar, this is starting to produce some lower lows, and again the flow on the weekly, the candle is nice and bearish. Looking at this price breaking through, coming here, producing a bearish candle and then breaking the low of that. So overall the trend is not very strong. So it's, in other words, we don't have a very clear, very easy to trade kind of conditions, but certainly it is leaning towards the downside, with the dollar leaning towards the upside. Then looking at cable, although we have produced higher lows and higher highs and we're technically in an uptrend on the daily, again, the trend isn't really that strong. Of course, price still has this reaction to the 1.2 level, and again produced a slightly bearish candle in the moving averages here at previous support. Found some resistance, broke to the downside. So there is potential here, looking at this in isolation, that the market will potentially head lower, which supports the idea of a stronger US dollar. And of course, we've had big swings in multiple directions. At least it looks very much so as though price action is starting to calm down. So we've had increased volatility in late February, March, starting to slow down a little bit now. Candle sizes coming back a little bit, back more within a normal range. Then having a look here at Aussie dollar against US dollar, finding some good strong support at 0.63. What I was watching was, of course, the weekly trend down. Very nice, smooth flowing down trend, price coming back in, had a big aggressive move and then actually pulling back into the moving averages. So this is an area where I'm actually looking for shorting opportunities. This is what I spoke about last week. We broke the low of the previous candle. We haven't really broken the high, and we currently look quite bullish. And again, we are sitting at these historic levels of support. When I say historic, I simply mean going back to 2008. I just mean that it's been a while since we've tested those levels. And of course, price coming back into the moving averages on the monthly. It's not ridiculously overextended. In fact, if anything, it's in a really good place. If it does decide to turn around and break the low of either of these candles this week, then I'll be looking for shorting opportunities. And of course, that may at the same time also be an indication the dollar is obviously continuing to strengthen. At the same time, if we start to break these previous highs, then I'll be looking to see this climb higher. So really, none of them are really outstanding in their signals in terms of what they're looking to do, which is fine, because that has been pretty much what has been the norm for the last few weeks. Here, Kiwi dollar coming back into the moving averages, producing a bearish candle, then breaking the low of it last week. So this is the week before last, and then last week, this week, then the monthly as well, having broken through that level of support. Looking to see if we can find some resistance there. So if it did potentially move up and then find resistance and then start to trend lower, that would also make sense to me. You can see the daily here actually technically is, if we haven't, yeah, we have lower highs, lower lows, but largely sideways motion. Also not super strong at that point in time. Going across to dollar yen. My issue with dollar yen, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, is that it has largely been range bound. All right, and that goes back to 2016, pretty much actually since Trump was elected president. We can see the price has largely ping-ponged between these levels, and my expectation for now is that it will continue to do that. The problem with it is it makes it very difficult to trade. There is no real clear direction. It does look as though it's getting a little bit bearish and looking to break below 107 and then head lower down towards 105, which actually is indicative at least of a weekly US dollar. But because it's dollar yen, it really could be anything. It just bucks the trend and does its own thing. Dollar Swissy, also very much range bound for its own reasons, very volatile certainly on that weekly basis, and producing a bearish rejection candle against local resistance here on the daily, so potentially showing signs of it heading lower. So what we have, contradictory of course, is that we have weaker signs of a potentially weaker US dollar, on dollar yen and dollar Swissy, but actually slightly stronger US dollar on a few of the other majors. Then looking at dollar CAD. So dollar CAD technically here in an uptrend. Of course, we were very much overextended and hitting strong resistance there at 1.45. Price really bumping its head there, coming back into the moving averages, produced a bullish candle on the weekly. Moving averages fanning out nice and bullish, and it's coming back potentially to test those levels. So I can see the rejection of that key level. Again, I wouldn't mind price coming back to test resistance closer towards 1.350, which is further down towards here. And then potentially resuming to the upside, but not really seeing anything that looks fantastic. So nothing really jumping out in terms of that. Again, Aussie and QB still looking to me as though they might have great potential if price starts to break below the lows on the weekly, which is breaking these lows, and then looking for shorting opportunities there. So that's it from me. If anything significant changes, as per usual, I will be updating you. What I am waiting for, of course, is Wednesday evening this week, FOMC. Not really anticipating much change there. But nevertheless, just highlighting, we've got obviously things like unemployment claims. Non-farm payroll is not this Friday. I believe it is next Friday, so it'll be the second Friday in May. At any rate, as I said, if anything significant changes during the week, I will update you. So thank you very much. Have a great week.